Ads can be a bit scary. For some reason, when you're half looking for something and think to yourself, that's way too expensive, or there are so many options, why is not a single one suited for me? For some reason, ads for products that are cheaper or just perfect will find their way to you. Which brings me to these. These are the Moondrop Space Travel True Wireless Earbuds. I was kind of looking for some wireless earbuds for a while, but what I found was either super expensive or from a brand I'd had never heard of. Moondrop, though, is a pretty popular tri-fi brand, so when I saw the ads for this, I was like, shove it, let's give these a go. These cost 25 of your Western coins. The price is the same everywhere, regardless of the currency. An additional 8-ish coins get you an outer case, which you should definitely just get, because the top of these is open, and while the magnets are pretty strong, me being very clumsy, they will probably fall out. The buds themselves, well, I think it's pretty clear who they're knocking off right here. I don't have AirPods Pro, so these will have to do. But this is a good design. They fit well and they feel pretty decent. There are touch controls about here at the top on both sides, which is suboptimal, but oh well. The buds make sounds too, so to indicate stuff like Bluetooth connection and the ANC and transparency modes. Yes, these do have active noise cancelling, but I'll get to that later. They use a voice for it. The voice is a pretty weak thing. The only thing that's clear straight away is when you connect, it will say connected. But when there are no devices found, for example, it will say do, and the different noise cancelling modes are sh, and hey for on, off, and transparency respectively. This is super vague, but I can live with it. You can also use these with the Moondrop Link app. Don't download it. It's not worth it. The sound profile it has as default is the best, and the others add little to nothing. Let's talk about sound now. The sound is conventionally good. It's pretty wide for earbuds, and I can best describe it as a reference otherwise, which I really dig. You might not, but that's personal preference. The sound is way better than these wired AirPods, and obviously the Moondrops smash them in every way imaginable. So there's bass, there's treble, there's mids. These are just treble usually in anything but the most optimal environment. I also tested them comparing them to the Sony WF-C500s, which are 4 times more expensive and still considered budget buds. Those have a more consumer sound, I guess, so more bass and more treble, which some might prefer, but they keep falling out of my ears and are generally pretty uncomfortable for me. Now let's get to the ANC. I tested this in a few places, but mainly the Rotterdam metro system. I tested them in both the old and the newer metro trains on 2 lines. Yes, the old and the new metro trains are different in terms of sound, but I am not going to get into that now. I was generally impressed by these. They will knock a new metro completely out, and the older ones will be made almost silent. There are also 2 tunnels in those lines, which require me to introduce another pair of noisemakers. These are my Sennheiser PXC 550 Mark IIs. These theoretically have really good noise cancelling, but I learned they absolutely suck, thanks to 25 coin earbuds. The loudest of the 2 tunnels that I have available to me, the Sennies will freak out and make dying sounds if you keep the ANC on, like crackling plastic and stuff. These buds, they did struggle a little bit, but they did manage to silence the noise a bit too. Aside from tunnels, the Sennheiser are not that great anyways, but I think that's because the earpads are too stiff. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Let's bring these back. There. The Moondrops, they have pretty decent noise cancelling against most ambient and public transport noises. They seem to struggle with voices though. One morning, when I hadn't started the music yet and was in a metro, I could clearly hear someone's ongoing conversation and literally nothing else. So, in conclusion, on one hand, the Moondrop Space Travel True Wireless Earbuds sound really good and have decent noise cancelling, but on the other hand, the charging case is suboptimal and it struggles with muting noises. I would still recommend these to anyone who wants cheap earbuds. Who can say no to 25 coin earbuds? And these will hit the bin in a few years anyway when the battery dies, so